BMAX Audio Adventure. It's BJJ365. We're here again with more jiu-jitsu goodness for your ears. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, a good friend of mine, a guy who I've competed against, I've trained with, I've done podcast with, I've been in a hot tub with. We've shared meals, entire meals of food.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, black belt from Alliance. That means something. Jeffery, Donovan. What's up, my bros? Brozinho.
Well. Yeah, Brozinho.
Brozinho. What's going on, man?
Man, just came into town, get some training in with you guys. Just trying to sharpen up my tools for the no-gi game. I got tapped out about 8 times today by Matt Scaff. Same choke.
He tends to do that to people.
Yeah, I literally was about to kill myself, but then I was like,
"Don't do it, man."
Yeah, no ritual suicide.
No, don't do it. Don't let it lose any sleep. I love when you come by. First of all,
yeah, I love coming by, man.
It makes me feel so good. Like today, we had 4 black belts on the mat in Decatur, Alabama, because Mike is here, old man Mike from Triad. I shouldn't call him old man Mike, but he's old.
Yeah.
But he's still awesome.
Exactly.
But, me, you, Mike, Scaff, Lindsay, brown belt. Then we had 3 purple belt, all on the mat in Decatur, Alabama. Yep. And I was telling you guys, man, I remember really clearly when we saw a purple belt, it was like seeing a unicorn.
Yeah, it's a demigod. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it was like seeing a demigod. Yep. A purple belt, what's he going to do?
Hercules.
He has the magic touch, And so, to have 4 black belts on the mat at one time.
On a Sunday evening.
On a rando Sunday. Yeah. It's like.
In Decatur, Alabama.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, it really means a lot to me when you come out.
Oh, man, I always learn something every time I come here, even if it's taking a beating or just certain movements and everything, which is really cool because I train predominantly in the gi, but I do a lot of no-gi also, and I like to blend my gi game a lot with a lot of things that you guys do, and a lot of rubber guard. Like last week, and I competed at Respect 4 in Kansas City. It was a gi match, but predominantly most of my match was me in the guard playing rubber guard, doing mission control, the meat hook, and things like that.
Yeah, I saw it, man.
Yeah. So actually knowing some of the vernacular too, like the vocabulary of what you guys use too, it's I legitimately I believe in it. I also train judo. I'm a 2nd degree brown belt in judo, and I like to do what Bruce Lee said is learn everything, and then take out what you feel like you don't need to make your own art, and then go from there. And
absorb what is useful.
The glass is always half full, man. You can always put in more information in there.
Is that that mindset towards the martial arts? Is that something that is kind of who instilled that in you, or is that something that you just came across because you're a wise person?
I would say Bruce Lee. Yeah. Seriously, I just listening to his interviews and things, and then a lot of the old time martial arts guys, the traditional martial arts guys who just think that their art's the best. There's not one art, it all came from pretty much one art, and then it broke off, and then everybody thinks, oh, you need to train this because this is what's going to win you a fight, or this is what's going to save your life. No, you need to learn everything. You don't have to believe in it so much that what you're learning, but you need to be knowledgeable of it. Here, I come in here, I know I'm going to take a beating, probably take a beating from some of the purple belts too sometimes. And you have to be able to keep an open mind, make yourself comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and the more often you do that, you become successful then.
And you know what, man? I watch you take that mentality, and you're one of the most prolific competitors maybe the most prolific competitor that I know. I don't know anybody that competes as much as you. When I'll try to think about it. I don't think I know.
And I have a full-time job, too.
Yeah, and you're 220 years old.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I was there at the crossing of Delaware of George Washington. Yeah.
How old are you for real?
41.
41. And you're for real, almost every weekend.
I slowed down a little bit this year, but 1 year I did 23 tournaments.
All over the country.
Yeah, and that
Have you ever competed internationally?
Not yet, no. I hope to one day.
Yeah, you got plans for it, huh?
Mm-hmm. Once I blow up.
And you're competing, blow up
in the old man division. Yeah.
Are you competing in judo? I know you've done some judo competition.
Yeah, the problem is that I only train judo probably like at the most 2 days a week, and I'm a second-degree brown belt, so I would be competing against like black belts now.
Like legit dudes.
Yeah, so the guys that like have been doing it for years. So I just pretty much train it just to help out my jiu-jitsu and make me very confident in my stand-up in jiu-jitsu, where I don't have to always use it if I don't need to, but it's always there.
Yeah. What's the primary like technique-wise, I would say, what's the primary thing that you've gotten out of your judo training that's assisted your jiu-jitsu?
Kazushi. Understanding what kazushi is, which is in Japanese, it translates into English as off-balancing. I had in my match last weekend, I had the guy in my closed guard. He was on his knees in my closed guard, and he literally moved probably just a fraction of an inch, and I felt that movement. I opened up my guard, and I took him down from my knees just because I felt the off balance. I just drove right through him, so I just felt that little change in the balance there and just went through it and got my takedown from the knees.
It's been able to give you a sensitivity.
Yes.
That jiu-jitsu didn't offer.
Right,
you.
Exactly.
Interesting. What is it about judo that you think offers that? Is it just the focus on it, or is it something about being on your feet that offers it, or is it just like the difference in the teaching and stuff?
I would say the difference in the teaching and knowing what grips, what type of grip you would need for a certain situation. Like a standard hand on the elbow, hand on the collar grip is not always going to be the best situation if the person's taller, if the person's shorter than you, and then how to pull the person and make them come off balance instead of trying to force like a wrestling mentality of going through the wall. It's kind of like action reaction kind of thing.
What do you get the most out of training no-gi?
I mean, personally, my belief is, since I'm a black belt, that I need to at least, at the very least, 1 day a week train in no-gi, just to get the feeling of the genre of that, that part of jiu-jitsu. And so if I need to teach it to somebody, I can have a general knowledge of it. I mean, I think I train no-gi like 3 days a week. But
that's way more than most.
Oh yeah,
like, gi practitioners, I would say.
I had a match a couple of years ago. The day that I got my black belt, I had a fight to win match. The same day I got my black belt, and it was a no-gi match, and it was against a guy that came from a Renzo Gracie affiliate, and so I took it seriously for like 3 months, knowing for the match was coming. I just trained strictly just leg lock.
Yeah, you were coming
defense.
over here a lot.
Yeah, I was coming over there. I was training with El Dirte in Alpharetta, Georgia, and Tony. He was helping me out.
I like that dude.
Yeah, he's a good, solid dude. And man, he lit me up last time I trained with him too. But yeah, just understanding it, and I think like basically for like your leg locks, you need to know how to defend it before you even do anything. You need to know that they're there, even if you're training in a gi or if you're training no gi. You need to have basic knowledge of how to defend it. Either pummeling in with your feet, or holding your hands the right way, or turning your knee the correct way, and clearing the knee line. That just helps out. Even in the gi too, like certain situations where I'm at, I'm very comfortable now in those leg entanglement situations, because I at least know the basics of how to defend it, which is important because you need to have an open mind, and that's how the best way you can defend it.
I love your attitude, man. Like, I love that you're so open to learning from not just different jiu-jitsu people, but different martial arts too. That's something that the first guy that I trained was a guy named Jamie Webster.
Mm-hmm.
He was we started training in Tung Soo Do, and Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Was mine and Lindsay's first introduction to martial arts. And that was Jamie. He always said that was his main objective, was to introduce his students to martial arts and let them pick the one that interested them the most, and then let, kind of express yourself through that particular martial art. And I'm really grateful for that, and I think a lot of jiu-jitsu guys are missing that.
Exactly.
Because you know how it is, man. Like you first feel the power of real application of jiu-jitsu, and you kind of get drunk on it a little bit.
Right, exactly.
So late white belt, blue belt. Blue belts are the worst. They think that jiu-jitsu is the end-all, be-all, and that nothing can beat jiu-jitsu, I'm speaking generally,
Yeah,
of
blue
course.
belts are pretty much the smart, retarded people.
They're the worst. What's wrong with you blue belts? I'm just kidding. But I'm not
We
kidding
love
at
them.
all. You love them.
Sometimes. Blue belts want to actually start learning your name and like remembering it. When you're white and all that, it's like, I'm sorry. I don't want to put that time into learning your name.
That was Jeffrey Donovan from Alliance that said that. That was not me. Y'all remember? Look him up. Anyway, but yeah, like when you're early and kind of, let's just say adolescent in your jiu-jitsu journey, you kind of get drunk on the power of real martial art.
Right.
I say real with quotation marks because, I think there's a lot to learn from really every martial art.
No, yeah, true.
But that power of jiu-jitsu kind of like gets into you, and you start, you want to fight everybody and you want to like test it on everybody. But as I've gotten, I guess, deeper into my jiu-jitsu journey, I go back to the roots that Jamie, the foundation that he helped me lay, which was to, like you said, absorb what is useful and reject what is useless. And at that old dojo, man, that old dojang he had in the bathroom back there, pictures of Bruce Lee on the wall, dude. Every wall, Bruce Lee. They were old, tattered, we coming down off the wall, and it was still Bruce Lee. So one of the arts that I feel like I've gotten the most from, and I've never even had a teacher in this thing, I just mostly reading essays off the internet, to be honest with you. Tai Chi, old lady in the park practicing under a tree kind of Tai Chi, not even push hands,
right?
But
that's what I was gonna say too. Is I've gotten really involved in breathing techniques where I'll sit in the room for 10, 15 minutes and just listen to my breath and be very conscious of it, and which is a basic aspect of Tai Chi, just flowing into one position to another position and then another position, and just being literally like water, just going through it. And then a lot of my jiu-jitsu game is like that. I don't like to stay static. I'm really loose every single time because I'm controlling my breathing. Whenever I'm in a competition or a match and I feel like I'm getting out of that realm of my breath, I can literally talk myself down and just be able to logically think of the moves while they're happening instead of being trying to force something. And sometimes I have to pull back 2 steps to go 3 steps forward, but that's why I can go on and on and on and on and on when I'm training.
Yeah, it allows you to train all day.
Oh yeah,
rather than just all that.
And especially
madness.
when you're training too, it's not a competition. You're training to learn. Even if you quote unquote lose during training, you're learning. I'm gonna come out today. I'm gonna come out better than I was when I walked through the door, just because I picked my beating from you and Scaff, and just go on from there, and then just realize that's part of the journey, man.
Well, it is part of the journey, and it's the part that gets lost for most people.
Not people, I don't think, can accept it. They don't want to let go of the control, and sometimes you gotta let go of the control.
Not just sometimes.
To be in control.
I think you have to let go of it in order to find it again.
Exactly.
And I think that the better people get, I'm speaking very generally, painting with a very broad brush, but
right.
I think the better people get, the harder it is for them to let go of their ego. I
Yes.
think the ego manifests itself even more in brown and black belts.
Yeah, because you're like, oh man, I can't let this guy beat me.
Yeah.
They're gonna go and talk and say, oh, I beat this guy and that guy. Man, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want to say I don't care, because that wouldn't be
that
wouldn't be totally. I do care.
It's not gonna kill me.
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
I know I shouldn't care.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
And so being able to manage that.
Yes.
That uprising of whatever that is, that I guess it's ego. But, you know, I've talked about this on one of the other podcasts. Like, people tell you, kill your ego, don't bring the ego in the room. And I feel like that's just horrible advice.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's just the worst advice you could give somebody. Like, in the whole, you never lose in jiu-jitsu, you only win or learn.
Or,
I don't believe that either.
Or there's no ego in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
There's
no.
always ego.
Yeah, it's unhealthy to not have ego.
Right.
I have to want, and we're going to train together.
Mm-hmm.
I have to want to beat you. Otherwise, it's not legitimate.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to try to beat you, but at the same time, it can't matter if I beat you or not.
Yes, exactly.
It can't affect how I sleep on my pillow at the end of the night. You know, that's the balance, and that's the hard part. And you're one of the prime examples of how to manage that properly as a man and as a martial artist of anybody I know. So, Jeff, tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram, all that good stuff.
I am on Instagram at Jiu-Jitsu Jeffery, Jeffery, Donovan, Donovan. Check me out. I post probably like once or twice a day. I try to keep it relevant and keep it fresh, because I remember you told me a couple of years ago how to properly post on Instagram, so that's been working out well.
Yeah,
But
is it helping you?
yeah, no, it's been helping out a lot.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of people, like a lot of traffic for like private lessons and things like that. And I try to keep most of my stuff jiu-jitsu related on there. Every once in a while, I show stuff about like family and things like that,
Yeah.
just to make sure that people know that I'm a regular person too.
That's important.
And every time somebody DMs me, I don't care who it is, I'll respond to them and just make sure there's like this. I'm just not like somebody who has this page and is like behind the curtain. I like to have like the communication between people that are
Smart,
interested.
man. Smart. You're the man, Jeff.
No, you are
I'm
too.
so happy you're here, man. Thank you for
happy.
training with me.
Thank you very
for
much.
being such a great example for me, dude. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for sitting on my chest for about a good 2 minutes that I did not tap to, because I had an internal conversation with myself that I was a black belt. I wasn't going to tap to Brandon sitting on my chest.
And on that note, if anybody ever wanted to learn how to sit on a man's chest, it would be a great place to go. www.brandonmc.ninja, $5 a month for all your no-gi jiu-jitsu needs.
Bam!
And don't forget, guys, that we're sponsored by Toe Hold flip-flops.
Man, those are awesome. I just got my first pair of toe hold flip-flops. That's the truth.
I'm wearing some now. Are you got yours on?
No, I don't have them.
You're
Not
slipping,
today.
player.
Not today. I'm breaking them in
What
at
do you
home.
got? What are those?
Those are Coach.
Oh, those look pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I'm breaking them in, the toe hold ones, at home, though.
Man, I got those. He made me some that are 100% leather, no foam at all.
Oh,
it's like
wow.
4 layers of leather. Damn. They're amazing, but it's taking me forever
Yeah,
to break
them
those
in.
things in. Like, I'm having to take time off with them.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
They are
Yeah.
bad news. They're like
Yeah.
it's like wearing a tank on your feet, dude. You could kill somebody with them. I
Mm.
think you got to have a permit to wear them 100% leather ones.
Man, nice.
Ben Askren, actually, I just talked to him, like just DM about those leather flip-flops. So he's making him a pair that like custom made, say funky on them and stuff. It's gonna be dope, dude.
Nice, man.
But anyway, if you're listening to this podcast, screenshot, whether you're listening on YouTube or iTunes or Google or whatever, screenshot, tag me, tag Toehold, TOE_HOLD, and share it on your Instagram, and you'll be entered to win a free pair. My man Jeff Glenn, who was just here tonight, he won the first ever free pair that we've given away through the podcast, and we're going to do another one this month too. So we're doing 2 this first month. So still time to win. We'll do another one next month. Peace.
Nice.